Have you ever wondered when crochet all really began? I certainly have, and I've been looking into it. One of the things that I've found is that the first known publication of any crochet instructions or patterns was in a Dutch magazine called Penelope, and that was in 1823. And when I found that out, it got me wondering what crochet patterns were even like in the 1800s, and whether a modern day crocheter like you or I would be able to follow one today. So here's the plan for this video. I want to go on the hunt for a vintage crochet pattern, preferably one from the 1800s. I want to go back as far as I can. And tomorrow I will test the pattern out and see, can I follow it? I'm definitely intrigued to see if the style of writing the pattern has changed. I'm sure it has. I'm also intrigued to see if there's anything different about crochet itself. I don't know what it would be, but something might be different. Maybe there's different stitches, different names for the stitches. I don't know. We'll find out, and we'll find out together. So please do stick around. Okay, I've been searching the World Wide Web, and I've found a great website called Antique Pattern Library, and I will link it in the description so you can have a look if you want to. They have a huge collection of vintage crochet patterns, and I have just spent an embarrassingly long amount of time looking through them actually. One of my favourite things that I did find was this page from one of the books that was published in 1848. I'm going to read this for you. This is addressed to the American ladies of the time, and it says, "It is customary amongst the German ladies to have at hand some light piece of work with which they can at any time be employed. When passing the evening in one another's society, even when passing a morning visit, or after dinner at a dinner party, or while sipping coffee or taking ices at the public gardens, they consider their knitting or netting needles an indispensable accompaniment, and there appears to be a charm in the occupation that promotes rather than impedes conversation." I think a lot of us can probably relate to this so far. "Our American ladies will doubtless find the custom one worthy of imitation. Many an hour which would pass tediously if they were forced to find topics of conversation may be whiled pleasantly and profitably away by the assistance of some agreeable employment which interests without engrossing the attention. The facility of carrying about almost all species of knitting and netting render them peculiarly well adapted to this purpose." Peculiarly. That's a very hard word to say, but I just loved this because I think it's how so many of us still feel today. But I think I have found a book of patterns which I will try one of tomorrow. This book is from 1847, so we're looking at 24 years after the first ever published pattern, and they are some doily patterns. Those are what I'm going to do because it won't be a huge project. A lot of the projects I've looked at have been like full items of clothing and stuff, and I simply don't have time. I'm on holiday, so yeah, we're going with a doily and hopefully we'll get on okay. I haven't really read too much of them because I don't want to start like decoding and figuring it out now. I want to do that tomorrow when I test out the pattern. Also, I have been doing a lot of research recently into the history of crochet. It's been so interesting to me, and so I'm 99% sure I'll be making a video on that in the future, so make sure you're subscribed now so that you don't miss it. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow, and hopefully we get on alright with this pattern. So the book I'm using is the Court Crochet Doily book by Mrs. Warren, and this was being sold for 6p. We can see some pictures of all the doilies in this book. The book appears to be dedicated to Her Most Gracious Majesty Queen Victoria. This series of crochet books is dedicated with profound respect by Her Majesty's most dutiful subject, Eliza Warren. There is some explanation of the stitches here which might be helpful if they're not worded the same as what I'm used to. So chain stitch is made by forming a loop and drawing one loop through the other. So that is what I would be used to as a chain stitch. Double crochet is made by inserting the hook through the loop and drawing the cotton through. Okay, so this is, I guess, a UK term, double crochet. So what I would call in US terms a single crochet. And then a long stitch is a US double crochet. Okay, so we are going to work on doily number 3. No real reason why, just kind of felt like it. First row, make a chain of 21 loops, turn back, work 2 long, 2 chain, miss 2 loops, repeat. Count each row to see that there are only 20 stitches. Okay, my only concern is that with 20 stitches, you're going to surely end on 2 chains. So that wouldn't take you to the end of the row, if that makes sense. I don't understand that at all. The maths is just not adding up. Am I being really stupid? It would go 2 stitches, 2 chains, 2 stitches, 2 chains, and you would end on 2 chains, which doesn't work. Anyway, I need to end up with 7 rows of that, so I may have to adjust slightly, but I don't see how I can do it so that I've got 20 stitches. And they are including the chains in those stitches, because in the picture there's only 5 sets of 2 long stitches in each row. Okay, I will try and figure it out and I'll get back to you. Okay, I think I worked it out. I did have to adjust slightly, but here we are. I think this looks like the picture. So what I essentially did was, instead of doing 2 long 2 chain, I just started with the 2 chain so that I wasn't ending each row with 2 chains. 2 chains, how many times do I want to say that? Basically, I've made it work. I have 20 stitches on each row and I have 7 rows. And it looks like the picture, so we're calling it a success. For the 8th row, I have to work a row of DC, which is single crochets in today's US terms, taking care to have 20 loops on every side, exclusive of 2 chain extra at each corner. So what I believe that means is I need to have 20 single crochets on each side of this square with 2 chains in each corner. That's how I'm reading that, and that's what I'm going to do. So far, it's not like as easy as just reading a pattern that was written today and following it. I feel like I'm having to decode a little bit, but I think I'm kind of able to make sense of it. Okay, so I've done a row of single crochet around it. For the 9th row, it says commence at the 2nd loop of the 2 chain. So I guess that's the 2 chains in the corner. Work 3 long into 1 loop, 1 chain, miss 3 loops, repeat till the corner. Then work 5 chains instead of 1 and make 3 long into 2nd loop instead of 4th loop. On each side there should be 6 groups of 3 stitches. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to try and follow that as I go. And we'll see how I get on. And I'll come back to you, hopefully having completed this round with no issues. We'll see. Okay, so it turns out I think this row is actually just doing granny stitch along the sides with a chain 5 in each corner. So the sense I'm kind of getting from this pattern so far is that it's just a pretty simple pattern written in quite a long-winded way. Once you kind of just break it down step by step, it's pretty easy to follow actually, so it's not horrible. It could have been a lot worse. We're at the 9th row, we're doing okay. The first 7 rows were all the same though, so I don't want to get too cocky and speak too soon. Apologies for the lighting change. The light that I was using died and I am recharging it, but it's taking a while, so I'm using a random hotel lamp right now. So I finished row 9. Here's what it looks like. Very exciting. Now, moving forward, at least for the next few rows, we're basically doing a lot of chaining and single crochets. For example, row 10, DC into center loop of the side, 5 chain, 5 DC stitches, the first into the 4th loop, 5 chain, DC into 4th loop, 5 chain, DC into 2nd loop, 5 chain, DC into 2nd loop, 5 chain, DC into 4th loop, 4 more DC stitches, 5 chain, repeat. A good few of the next rows are pretty similar, just adding slightly more chains and single crochets each time. I think all in all it should be okay to follow. Just kind of have to concentrate on where I'm putting those stitches. In all honesty, I would say that this has been easier to follow than the AI pattern that I made last week, which is saying something considering this was written in the 1800s. Says a lot really. I will rejoin you later and hopefully my light will be charged then as well. Okay guys, it has been quite a while and I've been working on this pattern. I have done, I think, 15 or 16 out of the 19 rows, and I am going to stop there because, first of all, I'm tired, and second of all, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, which was to see whether I could follow the pattern. So, let me show you what we have. This is it. Now, the tension feels a little bit off. I don't know if it just needs blocking or if I did something wrong. It almost feels like the chained parts are a bit too long, but it could be fixed with blocking. It could be my tension, I don't know. But all in all, the pattern looks like the picture. So I do feel that we can say that I successfully followed the pattern. It was, of course, written quite differently to what I'm used to. But once I broke it down and just followed it step by step, it was actually pretty easy to make sense of. Honestly, this has been such a nice feeling for me because, I don't know, I just think it's such a nice reminder of how long people have been doing this craft that we're still doing. I think it's just nice. If you guys have ever tried a vintage pattern or you plan to, please do let me know in the comments. And don't forget to check out the Antique Pattern Library website because they have so many amazing patterns on there. Please do like, subscribe, hit the bell, drop a comment, share the video, whatever you want to do. If you enjoyed this, I would appreciate it a lot and it would really, really help me out. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you next week.